So let's do this. Woo! All right, mandalas, here we go. All right, so we'll just start, actually I wanted to start today on our backs. So we'll move everything off to the side and come into corpse pose on your back to center. So, and again, you might want to tee out your mat today so you have freedom of movement from side to side, since we're continuing with our mandala practice, for those of you just joining in. Moving towards a combination of the sun salutation and the moon salutation. So you can either come into a reclined butterfly or keep the legs long, that's up to you. And we'll bring our hands to the lower belly. You might bring your thumb and forefinger together in the shape of a triangle, and fingertips to pubic bone, hands in shape of heart. We'll begin with some deep belly breaths. Relaxing any tension around the buttocks, the pelvic floor, inside the pelvis. See if you can breathe down into your reproductive organs. Now, this is the seat of our creativity. And the belly is the seat of our emotions. So let's just check in with the stomach and solar plexus for a few breaths. Releasing any tension around the stomach, floating ribs, kidney space. Really coming into our body, our physical body. Some deep breaths. And bring one of your hands to your heart. And inviting the breath to rise from sacral chakra to solar plexus and up into the heart space. So building the breath, and pay attention to any gurgles that you might get in the stomach or in the intestines. Taking fuller inhalations and beginning to elongate the exhale. So drawing it all the way out of the body and filling all the way up. So even from the deep lower belly, solar plexus, heart, and throat. Maybe even the crown of the head, third eye center. Kind of breathing up the highway of the spine. We'll find prayer. Set your intention for your practice today. then help the knees together. We'll find bridge. So bring the heels in towards your glutes. Find the four corners of your feet. You might lift the toes. Feel the mat underneath your feet in the four corners. You might even rock the knees from side to side a little. And go ahead and walk the backs of your arms in towards center line of the body. And we'll start with a few bridge rolls. So let's begin with pelvic tilt and press the lower back into the mat. Inhale, lift the hips. And then exhale, one vertebra at a time comes down onto the floor. Okay, and you can rock the pelvis so the pubic bone comes down and the lower back lifts off the floor. And slide your hand under the curve of your lumbar spine. And then again, press the lower back into the mat, scooping out the deep lower belly, and press into the four corners of your feet to inhale up. And this is the flow. So exhale, lower down. Rock the pelvis forward, pelvic tilt. Inhale, press the lower back into the floor, hollow out the deep lower belly. Lift the hips on and inhale. Coming up higher with each in-breath and exhale, lower down slowly. So we're waking up the lower back, the pelvis, getting the energy of the deep lower belly to enliven, kundalini if you will. Inhaling up. Now maybe now you've come up so high with the hips that you feel some pressure in the shoulders. Keep the chin tucked towards the throat and slowly lower down. Now your knees point forward. This is very important for tracking purposes. So hips rock forward, pubic bone lowers, so you can slide your hand underneath your lower back, then press the lower back into the floor so your pubic bone rolls up. Press into your feet. On an inhale, lift the hips. So we'll do this one more time. Slow, slow, slow. Exhale down, rock the hips. Again, you might roll and tuck the shoulder blades under the back. And we're going to inhale, come up and hold it. 3 breaths. You might interlace your fingers underneath your bottom and press your pinkies and forearms down into the ground. Now you can stay here, or for more challenge, try not to turn your head for here, so just listen to the sound of my voice. Shift the weight into your right foot and send your left heel straight up towards the sky. Keep your right knee pointing forward, and you might point and flex your left foot. Try and keep the hips level. Throat soft. One more breath, and then exhale and lower down the left foot. If you need to lower the hips for a beat, go ahead. And then inhale, lift the hips up. Shift the weight into the left foot and send your right heel up towards the sky. So this will actually get some heat building pretty fast in the body. Remember to breathe. Point and flex your right foot. Keep the hips high. So your left quad has to work pretty good to keep your hips level. And exhale, lower that right foot, lower down, hug the knees and towards the chest, make nice little circles on the ceiling. And we'll start to rock back and forth. So hold on behind your knees and rock up and back a few times. Now you can tap your toes overhead as well, as if you were coming in to a plow pose. And we'll rock up into boat. All right. So if you remember boat from Tuesday, extend the arms out. Now we can work to lift one leg at a time, bend and extend, working towards both. And then cross at the ankles, shift your weight forward, and we'll step back into our first downward facing dog. And let's take 5 breaths, nowhere to go, just hanging out in our down dog. Spread the fingers out as wide as you can. Lifting the hips high.
Inhale, come on to your tippy toes. And exhale the heels to the right. Just getting used to swiveling on the feet. And you can bend the knees, lift and lower the hips. Inhale, lift the heels through center, take them over to the left. And again, you can bend and extend. We'll come to center. So let's point the right toes back behind us for three-legged dog. Keep the hips level. We'll just take 3 breaths here. Now bend your left knee slightly. Draw your right hip down. And we're going to open the right hip and close it off a few times. So roll your right hip to stack on top of the left. And then lower. Back to three-legged dog. Roll the right hip open. And lower. One more time, roll open. This time we'll bend the knee. Circle out the ankle. We circle the knee. And exhale, right foot comes down. Let's switch sides. So inhale, lifting the left leg high. Three-legged dog. Now it's as if your inner thighs are the insides of scissors and they're sliding past each other. Dial the left hip down. I can't talk right now, Mom. Good, good, good. You might lift and lower your right heel. And then 3 times, we'll roll the left hip open and close. Open and closed. One more time. Open. Stacking the left hip on top of the right, and then bend that left knee. Bend and extend. Roll out your ankle. Roll out the knee. You might bend your right knee. Lift and lower your right heel. One more full breath in. Slow breath out. Left foot comes down to meet the right. Take the knees wide on the mat and sit back towards the heels for extended child's pose. Rock the hips from side to side. And let's roll to kneeling. So as we're working forward into our mandala practice, we'll be doing a lot of back bending, a lot of twisting, a lot of side planks. So let's just take a moment and roll out our wrists. And we're still warming up. So draw the knees together. I'd like to come into a camel variation. So you can tuck the toes underneath you. You'll sit back towards your heels. We'll start with the right hand to the right heel, and the left hand will cross the body as you lift the hips. Look up at your hand on a big inhale, and then exhale, lower the hips, lower the towards the heels. Left hand, left heel, right arm crosses the body. And we can pick up some momentum here. So exhale, lower. Once you're comfortable with it, pick up the pace. Inhale, hips reach forward. Exhale, sit back towards your heels. So we're warming up for our back bending later on. So we started with our bridge pose, and then we can take it a little bit further and add some momentum. Big inhale. Exhale, sit back, inhale, reach the hips forward. Now it's really important to reach the hips forward so your hip bones are over your knees. A few more passes. If you want to make your exhale forceful through the mouth, that works too. And we'll lower down. So let's return to downward facing dog. And walk the feet towards the hands. We'll inhale for a nice halfway lift. And let's bend the knees, sit low, and reach the arms back behind you. Okay. So squeezing the shoulder blades together here. Releasing the tailbone down, inhaling up for chair. So reach the arms forward and up. Interlace your fingers. And let's flip the palms up to get a nice shoulder stretch. So turning the palms up towards the sky. We'll inhale to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. All right, so let's get a nice twist here. Root through the feet. So we might lift all four corners, or lift all the toes, spread them out, find the four corners. Release tailbone down. Okay. Externally rotate the upper thighs. All right, now from the navel down, we're gonna stay still. From the navel up, we'll twist. So interlace your fingers, press the palms out and up. And again, from the navel up, twist to the right. Try to keep your hip bones pointing forward. So you're wringing out the organs. We're preparing for our twists. Inhale to center and exhale to the left. Again, keep your hips pointing forward, inner thighs rolling out. Inhale, center, exhale, hands to the navel. All right, we're gonna do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to the right. Yeah, so you're trying not to take that left hip forward with you. Keep it back. Inhale, center, exhale, lower. One more time. And exhale, left. All right, so we're ready for our twists now. Inhale, center, exhale, lower down. Come out and up. Exhale, fold. And now halfway lift. Step the left foot back. Now you're gonna plant I'm gonna turn around so you can see. You're gonna plant the left hand down on the ground. You got that 90-degree bend on the right. And you're gonna reach the right arm up towards the sky. You're gonna really press out through your back heel. And then heel toe your right foot. Now you might even roll onto the pinky toe edges of both sides of your feet. And you're going to heel toe the right foot back into side plank. There you go. So a couple breaths here. Now you can always modify by maybe keeping that right foot forward. Now you're going to take your right foot back behind you. Now you can always lower the hips, bring your hand to your knee. Now your left toes are out to the side and you're using the pinky toe edge of your foot as leverage, and we'll lift and lower a few times. Bring the hip forward, sweep across the mat. Now you're going to get a nice side body stretch. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. So if you need to come out, you can lower the knees and hips to the heels for a few breaths. We'll take a few breaths in down dog. Kind of pedal out the heels. And you'll point the right toes back behind you, sweep the leg up, rolling your hip open. And for 3 rounds, knee to nose. So square your hips off, curl through the spine, rounding forward, knee to nose, as if you're coming into plank. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Curl through the spine, rounding forward. On an exhale, inhale, reach back. And exhale. Right foot steps forward. Let's take a quarter turn to the left. So you're going to Skandasana from side to side. Now you can always bring your blocks along with you. If you want to take them with you.
Gonna cross at your wrists. And let's come into Skandasana on the left. Right toes up. Take a quarter turn to the left. And drag your right toes up to meet the left. Now if you'd like to come into a standing splits here, you can draw your right toes up towards the sky for a nice stretch. Otherwise, we're in forward fold. You can always walk your hands forward, that's nice. In forward fold, take hold of opposite elbows. Let your body hang. So we're at the other side of our mat. Sit low, reach the arms back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Get really long through your spine. Shift some weight back into your heels. And then lower the tailbone, scoop out the deep lower belly, and reach the arms up for your chair pose. You might interlace your fingers and flip the palms up. Inhale to standing, and exhale, release. Hands to the navel. Let's try that twist one more time. So inhale, flip the palms out, twisting to the left this time first. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands to the navel. One more time. Inhale, reach forward and up. Twisting left. Inhale, center. Twisting right. And center. And exhale, release. So we're facing the left side of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. And we're stepping the right foot back this time. Planting the right palm. Inhale, left arm lifts. Remember, press out through your back heel, lower the hips. And I'll turn around so you can see. As if mandalas weren't confusing enough. Now your instructor's spinning around, right? Lower the hips. So giving that nice twist through solar plexus first. All right, so now's where we want to be mindful of that right wrist. So make sure your fingers are spread out wide and that your middle finger is in line with the wrist. And you got your hasta bandhas lifting up out of the floor. Now you can bring your left hand to your knee, kind of heel toe that left foot out a little bit, and start to roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. And this feels good in the hips too, so you can come in and out of it a few times. So again, we want to try and keep that bottom leg lifted. So if you're new to side plank and you're still working on strength, use your left foot, press into it for some leverage. Stack that right shoulder, really draw it into the socket. So you've got space between your ear and the top of your shoulder, and you can look up, you can look down. Now again, if this is too much, you can always modify by lowering that knee and then sending the left heel back, but we want to build some strength. So take the challenge if you can. If it's not today, it's not today, it's okay. And then heel toe that left foot, stack it on top of the right. Few breaths. Look up at the left hand. And then bring your left foot back behind you. Now you can lower down here, take a little break. Might even stretch your wrist, roll it out. And when you're ready, again, you want one nice line of energy. Roll onto the pinky toe edge of your right foot.
and lift and lower. So getting into a nice back bend, moving towards wild thing. And we'll meet in down dog. So when you're ready to come out, now your left shoulder is going to pull on your hip, flip, and downward facing dog. You can always rest in child's pose. We're just breathing here. Right, lower down the knees, roll out the wrists. Okay. So one of the cool things about mandalas is, okay, so we got the twisting action involved. We get the heart opening and the back bend. And then with all of the side planks, it also helps us to build some strength and prepare for arm balances. So you might turn the fingertips down, get a nice stretch in the front of your wrists. And when you're ready, come to down dog. Now left side, three-legged dog, inhale, and 3 rounds knee to nose. So you're rounding knee to nose. Inhale, lift your toes. Exhale, rounding in. One more time, inhale, rounding in, and step your left foot forward between the hands. You're going to take your right toes and drag them up to meet the left, and you can always come into your standing splits. And we're meeting in forward fold. So here we are. Take hold of opposite elbows, dangle. Oh, I skipped a part. Okay, here we go. Right foot back into a lunge. Skandasana. Side to side. It'll work its way out in the wash. You can take your blocks with you. Okay, so now you're making your way over to the right hand side. So right foot. You're going to take a quarter turn to the right. Then drag your left toes up to meet the right, standing splits. There we go, that feels better. Meeting in our forward fold. So we've taken a full journey from one side of the mat to the other. Take hold of opposite elbows, work your forearms down. Finding our chair pose. When you're ready, draw tailbone down, reach the arms forward and up. And from chair, now we'll take a twist. So bringing hands to prayer, take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Twisting through solar plexus. Inhale to center. Exhale, fold. Give yourself a break. Shake out your legs. Shake out your head. Finding your chair pose. And we'll twist to the other side. So hands to prayer, right elbow to left knee. Try and keep the knees level, toes soft. Inhale to center. And exhale, fold. Shake out your legs. Now take a moment and just roll up to standing. Really taking your time. Chin towards chest, let the arms dangle. Good. Now you're still facing the right side of your mat, but I'm going to come to a center view so you can see. We're going to take our twist now into a lunge. So from chair, left elbow to right knee, pressing the palms together. You're going to shift the weight to the right foot and pick up the left. Send it back into a lunge. Okay. So here we go. In chair, left elbow, right knee, sit low, shift the weight to the right foot, pick up the left, slowly, slowly, slowly. If you want to tiptoe back, you can. Send it back into your lunge and a twist. And you can open up the arms here. Drawing right hip back in space, inner thighs together, sink down into your hips. And release. Now you're going to pick up that right foot, send it all the way back for three-legged dog. We'll roll the hip open and come into our wild thing. So now you're pivoting on your big toe ball mounds of your back foot. You get your right foot down, lift the hips up. Inhale, reaching back. Now when you come out, you're going to come into down dog and take your right knee under the body and kick it forward, lifting the left arm. Coming into a variation of side plank. Now you can always keep your right foot lifted for more challenge. And we'll meet in down dog. From down dog, we're moving through our vinyasa. So lift the hips forward. This is always optional. Coming into plank, lower down through chaturanga or cat bow. Inhale for cobra. Maybe full up dog if you feel open for it. And downward facing dog. Pointing the right toes back behind you, sweep the leg up, 3 rounds, knee to nose. 1. Big inhale, exhale for 2. Inhale, exhale for 3. Step that right foot forward between the hands. Quarter turn to the left. Skandasana, side to side. So I know a couple weeks ago we went through moon salves. You can see that Skandasana is a part of Mandalas as well. Can be anyway. There's so many creative ways of moving from side to side. So whatever works best for you. Take your blocks with you if you haven't. We're meeting over on the left hand side, other side of the mat. In our lunge. Plant the hands. Drag your right toes up to meet your left. Standing splits is an option. And meeting in our forward fold. All right, so let's take the feet out wide. So toes out, heels in. And we'll sit down into a squat. Now here's where you have an option of coming into crow pose, or you can just hang out in your squat, hands of prayer. This is perfect. Now if you're in squat, you want to lift the heart up so we're not rounded, and you can round and then kind of grow up out of your turtle shell a bit, elongating through the spine. And if you'd like to come into crow, you're going to plant the hands, bring your knees high up into the backs of your armpits, look forward, and maybe one toe at a time comes off the floor, and then finally both. Once you're in your crow, especially for those of you that are like, all right, I got this, I want you to find the curve of your lower back and really work the heart forward, shoulder blades down the spine. A few breaths. You want to find ease. And when you're ready, lower down and roll out the wrists. We'll find Lotus Mudra, thumbs and pinkies together, and we'll inhale up and exhale down 3 times. So exhale down, coming into your squat. Inhale, reach up, and exhale down. Inhale, reach up, and exhale down. Coming all the way to standing, heel to your feet underneath you. Have hands to prayer. 3 breaths. Feel your heartbeat, the heat that you're building already in the body. All right, and one more side. All right, so last time we brought left elbow to right knee. This time we're gonna bring right elbow to left knee. So we'll find our chair pose. Now you're facing this side, right? You're gonna bring your right elbow to left knee. I'm gonna face over here so you can see. And here we are in our chair pose. I got like 3 different cameras that I'm trying to contend with. Ooh, this is a level up for instructing. The GoPro, the phone, the computer, can you see me? I can't see you, I wish I could. Alright, shift the weight to the left foot, pick up your right heel, start there. Now you want to hollow out the deep lower belly, this is your fulcrum point. So when you send your right foot back in space, voila, you can land in your lunge. Alright, now remember, inner thighs are like the insides of scissors, and they're sliding past each other, they're also squeezing together. So if I do this, see my whole body pops up. Now you can reach out through that back heel, lower down into the left hip, rev up your back quad. Press into the palms, open up the arms if you can. Lift the sternum. A few breaths. Good. Now we're going to unravel, plant the hands, pick up your left foot, send it all the way back, 3-legged dog. Roll your left hip open. Good. And you're going to swivel on the big toe ball mound of your right foot, plant your feet, get your knees or your ankles underneath your knees. Coming into a wild thing, lifting. Now you can always extend that left leg. And look at your left hand, couple breaths. All right, I'm going to turn around here. Extend left leg. All right, so now when you come out, your left shoulder is going to come down, pulling on your hip and flipping back into down dog. Take your left knee under the body, kick out your foot, and right arm reaches out. A few breaths. Again, remember, if you want more of a challenge, go ahead and lift your left foot. You can always try and hold it. Trust me, this is enough. We're meeting in down dog, so if you need to take a break in child's pose, please do so. Shifting forward into your plank pose. If you'd like to move through a vinyasa, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Let's take a few breaths in up dog. And exhale, down dog. Breathing here. Now pointing the left toes back behind you, sweep the leg up, 3 rounds, knee to nose, curling through the spine, 1 exhale, inhale for 2. Exhale, curl forward, inhale back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, curling in. Step that left foot forward, quarter turn to the right, Skandasana. Side to side. So we're taking it over to the right foot. Quarter turn to the right. Okay. And you can come into your standing splits or drag your left toes up to meet the right. You can always corkscrew here. We're still working towards standing splits. And we're meeting in Malasana or squat pose. So feet down, heels in, toes out. Okay, so we are working towards some things here, some magic. So while you're in your Malasana, I'll show you where we can go. All right, so I'm gonna turn to the side. If you're coming into your crow pose, you got a few things to contend with here. So I'm gonna show you 2 things. One intermediate, the other advanced. So if you're coming into crow, what I'd like for you to work on is hopping back into your plank pose to the bottom of a chaturanga Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now you can always hop forward into your Malasana, or you can hop forward into crow. If you're doing that, please enter at your own risk. You know this, but also dental work is expensive. So, and this is your face we're talking about, so use a pillow, a little crash pad. It's good, especially if you're hopping from down dog into crow. Very important. So now you can also, especially if you're still working on kind of coming into crow, you can reverse engineer this and start with your head down on the ground first, and then kind of walk your knees up onto the backs of your arms, and then look up to Camel. You kind of teeter-totter. Trying that. Now, if you are super advanced, and it's been a little while since I've done this too, so I might fall on my face. I don't know. I'm going to turn around so I don't crash into that glass. Actually, I should really just move it. I'm going to be safer than sorry. Okie doke. All right, now I'm safe. The other thing that you can do from crow is come into a 3-point headstand. So the 3 points are in the top of the head. So you want to find what's directly above your chin, and this is where you want to ground. And you're keeping the elbows in and down the back, and you got a 90-degree bend from your elbow to your wrist. So I'll demonstrate, and if you'd like to try this at home, again, enter at your own risk. If you've never done a 3-point headstand before, I would please wait until the studio is open again and you have an instructor available for you to assist. All right, so from crow, you might come down and then draw the legs up. A few breaths, elbows in, and then fall out into your plank, lower down, up dog, down dog, and then maybe hop forward into Malasana. So even if this is not a part of your practice, you can be entertained and place a block underneath your bottom and sit in Malasana. If we were all together. We'll be together again soon. So lift and lower. If you're still playing, keep going. We're going to lift and lower 3 times. So finding Lotus Mudra. Inhale, come on up. And exhale down. Inhale, come on up. And exhale down. One more time. And we're meeting in standing. So this is the last time I'll bring you to standing. Roll out your wrists. Circle out the hips. All right. So the next time we come down to the ground or towards the ground, we're going to be coming into like pigeon flows, which is a little different because we're used to coming into pigeon and then sprawling out. And this I'm gonna ask you to work a little bit. So let's prepare for pigeon with a standing figure 4. So just like you're coming into chair like we did before, shift the weight to the right foot, and we're gonna bring the left ankle onto the right knee, hands to prayer, or you can keep your hand at the ankle of the knee. Okay, roll out the ankle. Try and bring your shin parallel to the floor and sit back into your hips. Now this would be a great place if flying pigeon is a part of your practice to come down and kick back into flying pigeon. So that is an option for those of you at home. And inhale up. Shake it out. And back to chair. Shifting over into the left foot. Bring the right ankle on top of the left knee.
few breaths, roll out the ankle. Again, try and get the shin parallel to the floor. Back into your hip creases. It's a nice opening in the hips. Good, and release. So inhale, reach up, and we will vinyasa. So exhale, lower down. Inhale, lengthen. Let's try to hop back to the bottom of our chaturanga. Inhale, full upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll find pigeon on the right. So you can come into three-legged dog, lifting your right foot. Might roll your hip open. And then draw that knee behind the right wrist, coming in to pigeon. And you're going to inhale and lift the heart. And exhale, lower down. So widen your hands here. Exhale, lower down, elbows up. Inhale, lift the heart, walk the hands in. Come back into your down dog. Now you can roll the hip open. If you want to flip your dog, you're welcome to. You can keep this flow going, drawing the right knee underneath the body, kick out through the heel. Back to down dog, switching sides. Inhale, lift the left foot. Exhale, left knee comes down behind the wrist, unfurl your back toes, widen your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. So we're going to continue this flow for 2 more full rounds. Inhale, roll up. This is the last activity I'm going to ask of you before we'll start to cool down, moving into Shavasana. So coming up, three-legged dog. Now you can always roll the hip open, hang out before switching sides, or flip your dog. Woo! Get a little topsy-turvy. Meaning back in down dog, right leg lifts, finding your pigeon pose. Widen the hands, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, dive in. Rolling up. Down dog. Your choice on how much flavor you want to add to your practice. So a couple breaths, switching sides to the left. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Finding your pigeon pose on the left. Widen your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, rolling up the back of the neck, back to down dog. On this third round, we will sustain in pigeon on the right. So coming to pigeon on the right. We are beginning to wind down. And now we can sprawl out. And when you really tease it out this way, it makes it so much more delicious when you really do settle into the pose. So you can bring in some blocks for your chest or for your forehead. And we'll take 5 breaths. And feel the heat that you've cultivated from the practice. And use that heat to open your right hip even more, like really deeply. And if you'd like to add a twist here, you can take your left arm under the right. Hopefully you have some blocks for your ear. And then you can either bind or reach back for your left foot, catch the heel, get a quad opener. So yogi's choice. One more breath. Let it out nice and slow. And on your inhale, begin to make your way back to down dog. So exhale, lifting the hips up, down dog. Now you might move through vinyasa here. It's a-okay. We're making our way into pigeon on the left. Last one. You want to lengthen through the spine before coming forward, bringing in your blocks or your bolster. You can twist, bringing the right arm under the left, ground the shoulder and the side of the head. The right arm kind of wrap around the back body, maybe catch the left toes for a bind. Or bend your right knee, reach back, gather your foot, drawing the heel towards the glute. Two more breaths. Good. Come on up. So here's your chance for one final vinyasa. Moving through, and we're all going to meet in extended child. So if you want to skip the vinyasa and just draw your left knee back to meet the right, coming into child's pose, and circle out the hips a couple times just to get the blood flow back in. And we'll meet in full extended child. So forehead down, hands beside your feet, palms face up. And finding natural seat. Let's lift the hips and roll the flesh of the calves out to the side. So you're sitting down between your heels. And I'd like to get a nice quad stretch before coming back. So your toes point straight back behind you and start to walk your hands back. Now your knees are grounded. You can always turn your fingertips back behind you and kind of lift the hips up to get a nice quad stretch. Inner thighs, walk them together. Okay, so here's your level one, and it feels great. If you'd like to take it further, turn your fingertips forward, walk your hands towards your feet, and come onto your elbows. So here's your level two. Inner thighs are rolling out. Again, tailbone is drawing under until you feel that stretch all the way down to your knees. You can even press your shins and all 10 toes down into the floor. Now you might stay here with the chin in towards the chest, or you can rock the head back. You can come all the way down onto your back if your quads allow for it. Alright, so come all the way onto your back. And all the same rules apply. Inner thighs rolling out, toes pressing into the floor, tailbone tucking under, get a nice stretch in the quads. You can take hold of opposite elbows and reach the arms overhead. We'll take 5 breaths. And if you do have opposite elbows, go ahead and switch kind of your fold. There's another practice for you. When you're ready to come out, you might hold on to your ankles, press into your elbows, and come on. Okay. So our final pose today is going to be cow face. So I'd like for you to come to tabletop. Take your right knee and cross it over your left. Separate your ankles sitting down between your feet. So I'll take a quarter turn so you can see. So cow face, just cow face legs. You might interlace your fingers between your toes, and we'll inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, round forehead to knee. Now, if your forehead doesn't quite make it to your knee, bring in a block. It's really that simple, so whenever you can't touch the floor or bring one part of your body to another, just add length. If you would like to bind here, you can bring your left arm up, right arm back behind you, so you turn the thumb down, back of the hand faces forward, and then interlace your fingers, folding in again. We'll take 3 more breaths here. So we'll come into our half frog, just passing through. Take your right ankle, bring it back so that your sole of your left foot is in your inner right thigh, and we'll just fold forward here. So if you remember, you can lift and lower a few times if that feels good. If you remember from Tuesday's class, we were taking our quarter turns from here, so it just keeps going. But we're coming back to our kneeling. So walk the hands forward, draw your knees underneath you. Now we're going to take that left knee over the right, separate your feet, and sit back towards your heels to the other side. Okay, interlace your fingers in between your toes, lengthen up, and exhale, fold in. A few deep breaths. If you'd like to bind, right arm up. Take your left hand, turn the thumb down so the back of the hand is facing away from you. And so wrist to lower back, and then work your fingertips together to bind. Okay, sitting up nice and tall, rounding in forehead to knee. 2 more breaths. And inhale, lengthen. Bring your feet forward for Paschimottanasana. This will be our final pose before rolling on to our backs for Shavasana. So lengthening up. Exhale, folding in. Take hold of your big toes or your ankles, your heels, and draw yourself in. So 5 breaths. And if there's any final poses that you'd like to bring into your practice at this point, maybe a wheel or shoulder stand, plow pose, fish, these are all great ways to finish your practice. So whatever's calling to you, if you are done, just roll onto your back and enjoy 3 to 5 minutes, at least 3 to 5 minutes of Shavasana, conscious relaxation. We're going to finish class the same way we started. So lots of options for movement. Anything that you need to settle into Shavasana. Bringing your hands to the deep lower belly, fingertips to pubic bone, thumb and forefinger together, hands in shape of heart. Close your eyes. And like a sponge, soak up the benefits of your practice. Start by inviting the breath to move deep down into the lower belly, the hara. And begin to include solar plexus and the heart space. Hara, the heart, and the throat, third eye center, growing the breath even bigger. And letting it out as slowly as you comfortably can for several rounds. Really follow the breath all the way out and filling up to the tippy top. Once you feel like you're as full as you can get, take another sip of air.
keep one hand at the lower belly and bring one to the heart space. Bringing your awareness back to the breath and your physical body and the space that you're in. Reintroducing movement. Making your way onto your side. And up to seated. Recalling the intention that you set for your practice. Let's chant a silent Om together. Taking a deep breath and chanting Om silently.